Hey everyone, I'm here with Jocelyn Flanagan, founder and CEO of E=MC² events. Jocelyn, how you doing?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Good, under the circumstances. Jocelyn, just wanted to find out what's going on in your world these days and just a bit of an update.
Yeah, sure. Well, my event company, we're the antithesis of social distancing. So it's obviously a big struggle for us. We March and April and September, October are our busiest seasons. So in the midst of I think probably 12 hours, we had 11 of arguably our largest events cancel on us, and that's a tough blow. And it's taken about 3 weeks or 4 weeks even to close out the projects that we had that were literally in the books, and we were on event setup day when one of those canceled. So there was a lot of moving pieces, and a tough go certainly at the start. And now it's a lot of our clients we're postponing, and we're moving to virtual events, just as many people are, as you can imagine. So
yeah, I mean, you guys must have been hit massively. I mean, and how did you deal with that? I mean, obviously, like you said, the cleanup, but virtual events, what's next? What do you see in the next 30 to 60 days here?
Yeah, it's been tricky. So we knew leading up, beginning of March, we had an inkling that this was going to happen. We've been through a few different recessions in our days. So what we learned from those two was that we had to act fast. So we came to a conclusion quite quickly that we were going to temporarily lay off a number of our team, reduce hours for everybody else. We did need to keep a sizable number of people just to do the cleanup and to help look forward to the future. So that was tricky. We're really, and it's day to day, and we're looking at the government for their wage subsidies and the rent relief program. And as that information comes in, and the realities of that, dollar amount comes back, we sort of gauge what step we're taking along the way to bring folks back. And then the question is, when we bring folks back, then what do we do with them? And we're lucky in a way that we're a curious bunch of people, and we're interested in creating. Our jobs are to create human connection, and while we can't do that physically, there's still ways to do it. And so there's been a big learning curve. There's been, we had to sit back and watch sort of new technologies come into play, and then really determine what our part was in that. So it has been a lot of observing, and then really connecting with our clients to see what they need from us, and how we're able to facilitate that, and how we're able to capture in this world of social distancing, and how can we still create human connection and storytelling, which is what our live events do.
And it's just a matter, I guess, just like you say, watching, learning, and pivoting and adjusting where you need to.
Yeah. I'm really tired of that word pivot. I got tired of it, I think, on day 2. I've banned it from our office. I said,
we got to come up.
We'll adjust. We'll come up with a new word. It's quite.
We're just not pivoting anymore.
No, we're just not pivoting. We're just, we're just going to stop and watch for a while. And it's tough to not. We have to react smartly, but we can't pretend we're experts in a world that never existed before us.
Right.
So we do have to, slowly sort of navigate our way through this.
So, I mean, you've been in business for years. What any kind of advice you'd share for maybe somebody who's a newer entrepreneur, somebody who's in a couple of years and really faced with, seeing all that hard work they put in kind of slip away from them? Any words of advice?
Well, yeah, and it's never easy. And as I said, what we learned this time, where we hadn't learned it the first go around in a recession, was we do need to act quickly. And as entrepreneurs and small business owners, we love our teams. We create, they're our families, and And it's really hard to separate a business decision from an impact to humans that you care for and have tremendous amount of respect for. And in times like this, what we've realized is you have to take care of the business in order to take care of the people in the long term. And if there's any hope for us helping our people, it's to really clean up the affairs in front of us and take, do everything you can to save some cash flow and in order to get them back. And, it is, as I said, the government is doing, they're taking pretty big strides. Some can argue not enough. Some can argue not quick enough, but we've got to, I think, really latch on to what the opportunities that we are being given. They don't last forever. And I think, so there's one side of my brain that has to think about the short term, which, as you said, is like that 30 to 60 days. And then the other side of my brain that needs to switch on and say, okay, then what? And then what? And what I've been learning to do is sort of letting go of what our business looked like 2 months ago, and having to reimagine what our company will look like going forward. And we can't really imagine that part yet. It's leaving that a little bit. We in our industry have to be open to what that might look like going forward.
Well, what I find is that it's kind of, we've been in business for 24 years and I'm going back to the same skill set that I had 24 years ago. It's like starting the business all over again, and you got to get scrappy and creative. And personally for you, how are you handling this? Is there any things you're doing to kind of manage the stress levels and the whole situation? I mean,
well, I'm lucky in my location that I can get out and go for walks, and the weather's nice, and I'm lucky I can get out of my kayak when we're done this and get out on some water. But as I said, it was really hard the first couple of weeks of just sort of grinding through. I am a believer that if we're not learning new things, if we're not taking time to read books we've always wanted to read, or do something that we've always wanted to do, if we don't come out of this the other side, having knocked some of those things off our personal list, it's only on us to have fun in our own way while we can. I think there's a tremendous amount of stress and uncertainty, and I can't deny that. But there's also a tremendous amount of opportunity to take some things into our own hands where we can't control a virus and we can't control when the economy is going to open. We can control, what I choose to do on a daily basis. And sometimes it's harder than others. Don't get me wrong. I'm not always productive in my own right, but I certainly, there's so many things that I love to do. So I'm really just trying to find ways that I can continue to do that so I can be happy at the end of the day, and wake up again and look at what I'm happy about and appreciative for, and stay connected to people that are important to me.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, we have a choice every day when we wake up if we want to be in a crappy mood or a good mood and accept things for what they are. So Jocelyn, really appreciate you taking the time for this. Any last comments you'd have for any other fellow business leaders out there?
No, I think, the cliche of where we are all in this together, and there's no other way to say this. And, as we talked about earlier, it's the connections, the sort of commiserating with others. We do that in our industry. It's nice to know that we're not alone in our journey, that everyone's here, and in these unprecedented times, just stay connected. And that's all we can do, and get some laughs out of it, because really we have to do that also.
No, I'm with you 100%. So Jocelyn, thanks for taking the time, and stay safe, and we'll definitely stay in touch.
Yeah, sounds good. See you later.
Thank you.